There are 8 billion people on the planet. Out of that 8 billion people, only 1% actually succeed and achieve the things that they want in life. So what's the difference between the 1% and the other 99%? I'm here to give you the 5 secrets. Secret number 1 being basic habits, typical things that might be overlooked, such as waking up at a good time consistently, sleeping for at least 8 hours a day, going to bed at a good time, waking up, making your bed, making yourself a breakfast. Although these may seem like simple things and typically might get overlooked, that's why basic habits is coming in at number 1. As a lot of the unsuccessful people don't realize that continued consistent basic habits every single day over a long period of time leads to long-term success. So these basic habits completed every single day consistently, exercise, sleeping well, eating well, simple things such as this are actually proven to compound over long periods of time. The book that I'd recommend that speaks about this very well is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, but also another book, a great book, that covers this principle is called Atomic Habits. So these habits will compound over time and lead to long-term success. Building good habits, strong basic habits, leads to more positive things later on down the line. You can't build success without a basic kind of mainframe, without a strong structure. These basic habits that are completed consistently every day with no fuck-ups are what separate the majority of successful people from the unsuccessful. Secret number 2, which our first one rolls into quite nicely, is consistency. 99% of the human population lack the ability to do something consistently, repetitively, regularly, every single day, receiving whatever they might from said activity and continuing to do so regardless of the result. Being able to send 1,000 DMs a day, 500 DMs a day, 1,000 DMs every 3 days for your cold outreach, being able to do that regardless of the outcome. That is the true key to consistency. Consistency and basic habits go hand in hand. Being able to do basic habits consistently lead to long-term success. These simple things that are so overlooked, such as the basic habits and consistency, as these basic habits are pointless if you don't do them consistent, and there's no point in being consistent if you don't do your basic habits, if you see what I mean. Consistency in every single area is important. The reason I just mentioned the basic habits is because being consistent with your basic habits helps your consistency spread to other areas. So the more consistent you are, the more consistently you will be consistent. Like what I did there. It's very important to understand that although this might be difficult, it's an extremely high income skill, and I'd recommend everyone of every single age to practice their levels of consistency. Find out what they're not so consistent at and be more consistent at it. The more consistent you are, the easier it will become to become more consistent. Secret number 3 is the ability to think critically. Critical thinking is an extremely high income skill. Being able to think critically in every single situation is extremely important, and you can see how this would separate successful people from unsuccessful people. The majority of people that are classed as successful use critical thinking on the daily, whether that be important decisions regarding employees. The list can be endless, but being able to think critically is not only just a great kind of successful skill, it's also just great in everyday life. Being able to think critically kind of is encapsulated by the ability to have an opinion and be able to take things that are being said and think about them on both sides. For example, there's some sort of new stock being advertised, some new share, and it's promising great return. A critical thinker will be able to look at this and easily see that this is a scam of some kind. But someone who's not so critically thinking might not be able to realize that. So being able to be a critical thinker is extremely important. Being able to look at things from both sides of the coin and being able to understand that if something is too good to be true. Critical thinking is a way of thinking unbiased, okay? So you'll be able to see the good things and the bad things. But if something is bad, it means that you won't look through the bad things just because there are good things, which is extremely important in many aspects of life, especially, for example, relationships. Being able to look through the bad things and not see them just because there are a few good things is extremely dangerous. Secret number 4 is the ability to learn from absolutely everything. Whether something terrible has happened to you, whether something extremely good has happened to you, you never truly know if that is going to be good or bad for you in the long term. There's an amazing Chinese proverb which I heard a long time ago. The proverb goes that there is an elderly man and his young son that work on the farm. They have about 2 or 3 horses, and then one day those horses run away. All the village people come over to consolidate the father, and they say, "Oh, how terrible this is, you've lost all your livestock," things like that. And the farmer simply looks at them and says, "Maybe." Now, over the next week or so, there's not much to be done on the farm, so the father and the boy find other things. They begin foraging, things like that. And 2 weeks after the original incident, 5 wild horses run into the stable and decide to make rest exactly in the farmer's stable. All the village people come by and congratulate the farmer and think it must have been something he did, which it was not. And the farmer just looked at them and said, "Maybe." And a few days after that, with the new horses obviously being wild, they tried to train them and rear them. And as it so happens that the young boy actually gets his leg broken by one of the horses. And then all the local people from the town come back to the farm and they see the local boy crying in pain, the young boy crying in pain. They say, oh my God, it must be so bad. Oh no, what are you going to do? And the farmer simply looks at them and says, maybe. Months after this incident, the boy's leg still hasn't healed. It's not healing very well, it's infected and it's not looking very good. The conscription officers for the army come by and they walk around the village, taking all the young, strong men off to war to get ready to fight. And they will come up to the farmer's stable and they inspect the house and they see the young boy and his broken foot and they walk past it. The moral of the story is that whatever happens in the moment, you can't be 100% sure whether it's good or bad, and you just have to wait and see what it does for you in the future. And I think being able to learn from everything, kind of those two go hand in hand. Whatever happens to you, you just have to learn from it. You know, for example, what happened in the first part of the story when the horse ran away, maybe they should have more fences, or maybe they should have looked after the horses better. All the successful people were able to learn from it, okay? Unsuccessful people see it as bad luck, good luck, they see it as a coincidence, and all the successful people realize there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything is the ability to learn and grow. For example, when something bad happens to you, I'm not saying for you to not feel your emotion. You should definitely feel the emotion that these situations make you feel, but don't get stuck in it. For example, when my cat passes away, you know, it's sad, it's not great, but there's something I can learn from that. And I know that might seem like a really obscure example, and that probably is. There's not too much I can learn from that, to be honest with you, but you should take an opportunity to learn or try and figure something out from more or less every situation that happens to you. This is something that successful people do every single day, and it's something unsuccessful people do not. Secret number 5, which is typically what I would consider the most important. I describe it with one word: composure. Being able to keep composure, not get too excited, or at least not show that you're getting too excited, and not lose control is an extremely important and overlooked skill in the modern day. For men and women alike, but typically men, composure is something that is very lacking. A lot of men can't keep their desires and their feelings to themselves, and it leads to a lot of uncomfortable situations for people of both gender. So as a man, I've realised it's my job to keep my composure. Whether I think this lady is good looking or not, I think it's beyond my calling of whether I should let her know, you know? If I think someone's attractive, then I keep it to myself until the right moment. And there may never be that right moment. Understanding that composure is a lot more than just keeping your feelings inside, okay? So the way I look at composure is multifaceted. For example, every single month you get a paycheck, yeah? If you work a job, which the majority of you do, you get a paycheck every month. And the whole point of the paycheck and the way it's designed is to starve you of money for 29, 28, 30, 31 days, so that when you get that paycheck, you spunk it all, so that you spend every single last penny. And being able to keep composure and control over yourself is an extremely important tactic which you can use, so that when you do get money, you forget about it. The way that I've looked at money recently is that it's a tool for me to get to where I want to go. And up until now, I was never good at saving. And recently I've started saving money. Every time I see money, I have no obligation to spend it. But that is after years of spending every single penny that I ever got. Being that I didn't have too much growing up, I decided when I started to get money that I'd treat myself to everything I ever fucking wanted. And very quickly I realised that that was not the way to live, as I just started living paycheck to paycheck just to buy crap, really. Going out drinking, smoking, buying new clothes all the time just to look good. And realistically, I was broke. So I realised it's extremely important to keep composure in every single aspect of life. Every time I get a paycheck now, I pay whatever it is I need to be paying, whether that be my credit card or my rent or whatever it is I need to be paying, and then I save the rest. Any money that I earn from my business, I reinvest into my business. Now, this is just an example I'm using, but composure is extremely important. I'm sure you've heard many internet people talking about it, whether that be Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate or other big celebrities, kind of internet-based money men. They'll say that the second they get money, they put it somewhere and forget about it and work on a way to get more money. And I think there's something that can be learned from that. So these 5 secrets are going to absolutely catapult you in 2023. A lot of this is overlooked and it's sad to see, really, but I wish you all the best luck in 2023. I want you to drop a comment below to let me know what it is you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing it. And until next time.